Change leaders courageously acknowledge failure. Leadership learning. On 18th July 2013, the City of Detroit initiated Chapter 9 bankruptcy proceedings under Kevyn Orr, the emergency manager appointed by Michigan Governor Rick Snyder. This marked the largest municipal bankruptcy in U.S. history, involving approximately $18.5 billion in debt and liabilities. The filing reflected decades of economic decline, depopulation, and financial mismanagement, making Detroit's collapse one of the most profound in American urban history. The city's eligibility was initially contested but ultimately upheld in December 2013, allowing it to restructure debts under federal bankruptcy law while continuing to provide essential services. Notably, the crisis stemmed from a prolonged collapse in revenues, not spiraling pension liabilities, as often misrepresented. With Detroit's population falling from 1.8 million in 1950 to just 700,000 by 2013, its tax base could no longer sustain services scaled for a much larger city. While the bankruptcy shocked municipal bond markets and raised concerns nationwide, it also became a catalyst for institutional reinvention. Painful negotiations led to the restructuring of pension obligations, and outdated operational models were replaced by technology-driven efficiencies. Emergency management structures, though controversial, broke through entrenched dysfunction and delivered decisive leadership in a time of crisis to enable recovery. The appointment of Kevyn Orr marked a shift from traditional democratic governance to crisis leadership, sparking debate about representation and accountability during institutional collapse. Yet it forced Detroit's stakeholders, unions, bondholders, pensioners, and residents into a new era of collaboration. Emerging from bankruptcy in just 18 months, Detroit shed about $7 billion of debt, regained fiscal stability, and introduced stronger governance systems to prevent future crises. Its story remains a stark reminder that no organization, regardless of scale or history, is immune to collapse when core problems are ignored. And yet, when leaders have the courage to confront failure, even the most troubled institutions can become blueprints for radical renewal. Change leadership lessons. Detroit's collapse revealed the dangers of avoiding uncomfortable truths, yet its recovery proved what is possible when change leadership is both honest and bold. Detroit's journey from bankruptcy to recovery illustrates how leaders can use crisis to create opportunities for transformation that would have been impossible under normal circumstances. Leaders of change must sometimes abandon consensus-building approaches in favor of rapid, decisive action when institutional survival is threatened. They benefit from external perspectives that can break through organizational inertia and implement changes internal actors cannot achieve. Change leaders insist on complete transparency with stakeholders, even when the message is uncomfortable or politically contentious. They replace incremental negotiation with decisive frameworks that prioritize institutional survival over individual preferences during existential threat. Leaders of change protect fundamental operations whilst eliminating non-essential activities through difficult but necessary prioritization decisions during resource constraints. Summary leadership quote: "When institutions falter, change leaders confront hard truths, reject false consensus, embrace radical transparency, and rebuild resilient futures on shared accountability." Organizational change application, change leadership responsibility 1, articulate a change vision. The Detroit bankruptcy shows that effective change leaders must articulate a vision that acknowledges institutional failure while inspiring confidence in renewal. Kevyn Orr's appointment, though contested, brought urgent clarity and focused direction during an unprecedented institutional crisis. A compelling vision in times of crisis must confront uncomfortable truths, unify stakeholders, and define a path toward realistic transformation and a resilient future. Detroit's renewal went beyond balance sheets. It involved reimagined governance, restored trust, and renegotiated stakeholder relationships. Change leaders must communicate a vision that instills accountability, outlines measurable steps, and secures shared commitment from those affected. Articulating a vision during crisis demands courage, clarity, and a relentless focus on long-term stability, not just immediate rescue. Detroit teaches us that successful change leadership begins by confronting reality and uniting stakeholders around an achievable future. Find out more. Change Management Leadership, Leadership of Change Volume 4,